everybody, it is Max Q here for a somewhat quick news update. So with whole coronavirus concerns, there are a lot of things through space agencies that are shutting down, unfortunately. So ExoMars 2020 has been moved. My rocket launches have been canceled until further notice, which kind of sucks actually, because I was like really close to being done with this rocket. So yeah, Falcon 9 just got put at Johnson Space Center, and there's some more Falcon 9 news. Going to go over the launch tomorrow, and Starship updates. So yeah, that should have been posted in a news video that I did a couple weeks ago. So yeah, or I should have done breaking news. So yeah, which kind of sucks. So, but anyway, let's get started. So ExoMars 2020. So if you haven't heard, ExoMars 2020 was a Mars rover that was going to be launched by the Russian space agency, Roscosmos. And they were going to do it was going to be like right after Perseverance launch. So now it's going to be ExoMars 2020 launching in 2022. So I'm assuming it's going to get renamed to ExoMars 2022. So either that or it's just going to be ExoMars. So there was also some hydraulic issues with it too, and they just weren't ready to launch yet. And so, I mean, and they only have a 3-week window, and so it's like, well, why can't they just launch like any time? Well, in the way that Mars orbits the sun, you have to go off in a certain time. So every 26 months. So in July, when Perseverance launches, 26 months later, they will be able to launch some more stuff to Mars. So the problem with that is when we send humans to Mars, if the apocalypse ever comes, we will have to take every 26 months. So that means maybe half the population of the world will be wiped out. If that ever happens, which it won't. I mean, there really is no apocalypse. So yeah. Yeah. So that will be, or that's what Elon Musk says anyway. But we shouldn't have to evacuate Earth, because I love Earth. Earth is my home, and I don't think it would be the same living on Mars. So yeah, even though I really like to go to Mars, I think I'll just stick to building rockets that don't go to Mars. So yeah. Falcon 9 going to Johnson. So yeah, this sort of ties into the whole coronavirus concerns with my rocket launch. So due to the coronavirus going around, if you're watching this in like 3 years after the recording of this video, I'd recommend just ignoring this whole part. So due to the coronavirus, my launches for the next couple of, until further notice, have been canceled. So what that means is that I can't do a launch at Johnson until I've been told I can, until I've gotten an email that I can't do it. So yeah, I got the email this morning that I can't go to Johnson and do a rocket launch until further notice. So I'm just like, oh great, well that sucks. But anyway, that happened. So Falcon 9 has been moved to Johnson, which is really cool. Last weekend I was going to go down for a rocket launch, but as things have it, I put in the shot cord on this rocket right here, way up here. But the shot cord should go in the motor mount, which is like Who would ever think to put the shock cord in the motor mount? But, I mean, it is actually kind of ingenious because, I mean, the shock cord they use is flame resistant, so, I mean, makes sense. So, yeah. So this rocket, you'll never see this rocket take off, or this exact one here. I will take off a different rocket, but that's not for another couple of months, probably. But who knows? So, yeah, but anyway, Falcon 9, they have put a new Falcon 9 at Rocket Park at Johnson. So I think it went vertical, or it's out. I know it's out on display right now. It went out on display the day I went down, or the day I was going to go down to the rocket launch, but it didn't happen. So yeah, I was really looking forward to see a Falcon 9 in person. But anyway, I'm heading out to California later this year, so I'll make a good video about that. Unless all air travel due to the coronavirus just gets canceled. So I mean, which would kind of suck. I may end up having to drive out there, but yeah. But I live in Texas, but SpaceX headquarters is in Hawthorne, California. How am I gonna get there? Maybe I'll just fly. I don't know. So yeah, so Falcon 9 has a launch tomorrow at the recording date of this video and posting date of this video. Tomorrow at 8:42 a.m. I want to do a live stream, but I can't because I don't have the proper equipment to do it, nor the ability to do that yet. So, I mean, yeah. I just don't know how to do all that. I'm gonna work on trying to figure that out. So, by demo 2, I will be doing live streams, or hopefully I'll be doing live streams. I hope. Anyway, that'll be kind of cool to be able to do all of that stuff. So yeah, for right now, there is just going to be launches. You'll have to look at them on SpaceX's webcasts or any of the other webcasts that you can find that may seem a little bit more interesting than people blabbering on about what this rocket does and all that we've heard about a million times before. So yeah, but anyway, if you want to hear that, you can go on to SpaceX's webcast. They will have it up, so I hope. Anyway, unless it gets moved, then that would suck. Yeah. So yeah, Starship updates. So as you may know, I put out in my last video, or not the last video. The last video was Betelgeuse, so I wouldn't have talked about this in the last video. In the the Mars Perseverance rover name announcement. So I talked about Starship MK, or not MK1, geez, why do I keep saying MK1? SN1 rapidly disassembled itself. It blew the top part off, so basically we can say it launched, but it never successfully took off. So yeah, but things like that happen a lot. I mean, they finished up with pressure testing for SN2, so they're expecting that to launch anywhere between the next month or the next 6 months, depending on if it rapidly disassembles itself again or not. Who knows? But yeah, that's space news for now. Yeah, and there is more Betelgeuse stuff that came out too. So, Betelgeuse is not dying. Betelgeuse is still very much alive. Well, at least so far as that we know. It may be dead right now, but we don't know. It shaved off back in the Middle Ages, it shaved off a layer of dust. And so, what that means is that blocks the light coming from Betelgeuse down to Earth. So, that dust sort of absorbed the light, and so basically what that means is it dimmed the star. So the star never actually dimmed. it just shaved off a layer, and it is expected to be bright again anytime between now and the next 100,000 years. So most likely it's going to be in the next 100 years that it's going to be bright again. So yeah, I mean, it was a little bit disappointing to hear that, but I mean, I had a feeling it wouldn't explode anyway. So I mean, I think I was a little too hyped up about that. Unfortunately, it's just a layer of dust being shaved off. So, yeah. That's all it was. So, yeah, that's all I can think of for news. See you next time. Max Q.